All right, so in this video, we're going to take a look at actually how to represent data. So before we've been given a lot of tables, we've been doing some ranges and interquartile ranges and all that. But right now, we're going to look at how we can actually represent that data visually in order to help us model and give us some really good information. So let's go ahead and jump right in. That's a graphic a little bit familiar. So you can have a bar chart or a frequency chart. You can have a pie chart. You can have a box and whisker chart, or you can have a cumulative frequency chart. So what we're going to focus in this video right now is how to draw a bar chart, or more appropriately, a frequency chart represented as a bar chart. All right, so let's take a look at this example right here. So if someone's collecting data on the time in seconds that the girls and the boys in her yearbook group took to complete a 100-meter run. Okay, so here we have the times. So we have between 11 and 12, 12 to 13, 13 to 14, all the way down. And it's the number of girls that were going in that time. And then we have the number of boys that are going in that time. So here I have a crop out of my data table. Okay, so I have the girls and then the boys with all the different frequencies and the time. So what I want to do is first draw a, well, scale or axes. So when I'm looking at this, let's say I want to do the girls first. Okay, do the girls first. Go ahead and highlight that. All right. So between 11 and 12, so here's 11 to 12, 12 to 13, 13 to 14, 14 to 15, blah, blah, blah. So I have 0, then 0. Okay, so I'm actually not going to start until I have 2 between 13 and 14. So between 13 and 14, I'm going to have 2. And with frequency charts, what's important to notice is that this bar at 2 represents 13 to 14. So between 13 and 14, I need to have 2. So these widths are very, very intentional, and as well as the heights. So you got to be very careful with how you're going about doing this. And then we have 5 between 14 and 15. So I would go up to 5 here to 15. And again, if you were doing this in your notebook, you're absolutely going to need a ruler. There's no way around that. Then I have 8 between 15 and 16. So 15 and 16, I have 8. And then I have 10 at 16 to 17. And then I have 6 from 17 to 18, so that's 6. 19, I have 18 and 19, I have 4. Then 0, and then 2 from 20 to 21, I have 2. So as you can see, there's a gap because this, again, was at 0. 21 to 22, I have 2 again. And then I have 1 right here. Oops. All right, so there you have it. There is kind of the frequency bar chart for the girls. Okay, so again, all I did was I drew and created an axes with the appropriate steps and values, as well as the appropriate scale and values on my y-axis. So I also want to make sure that I'm labeling. So here I would have my T for time, and here I would have like my frequency or number of girls, whatever you want to call it. And then here is my bar chart that represents that. So go ahead and pause the video and go ahead and try the bar chart or the frequency bar chart for the boys and see what you get. And we'll go ahead, pause the video right here, and then go ahead and click it when you're ready to check your answer. So as you can see here, this is what the frequency bar chart would look like for boys. Okay, so all I did, again, just like our last example, I looked between 11 and 12, I had 2. So between 11 and 12, I have 2. And the same thing is going to go for 4. Here we'll have 8, then we'll have 10. And again, you just put these corresponding values as the height of all these bar charts, out of all these bars, and then you'll go ahead and get the right answer. I can go ahead and label this T for time, and I'll put like a frequency of boys right there. So that way I know exactly what I'm talking about and being very deliberate. So that is how you go ahead and draw a frequency bar chart, but it's also how you can interpret it, because I could say, hey, how many boys scored between 14 and 15 compared to girls? Well, again, I could look at my bar chart, 14 to 15, I had 10 boys. 14 to 15, I had 5 girls, so I had half as much. All right. So again, it is really nice to kind of look at these and just see the differences between the two, and it is helpful to kind of get an accurate representation of the way that the data is spread out in a more visually appealing way. So our next video, we'll take a look at box and whisker plots, and I'll see you there.